And a very good evening and welcome to Star FM Stadium here in Townsville. The second game tonight, so the earlier fixture was won convincingly by Southern District's Spartans ladies over the Townsville Flames. And we're a couple of minutes away from tip-off in Townsville Heat versus Southern District Spartans men's. And a men's side on the back of a 3-game road trip last week, similarly to the ladies. It'll be interesting to see how they back up. Tony Parsons with you. I'm joined in commentary by Mark Roble. Mark, we've moved on now from the ladies' game, but now we've got the men's contest and a fairly juicy encounter. Maybe.
Let's see. Look, obviously the last game didn't go quite to plan or what we'd expected. So this game we've got top place Heat against the down near the bottom of the ladder Spartans. Spartans yet to register a win this season. Got an opportunity to talk to assistant coach Ryan Stolberg before the game, and he talked about the fact that their major emphasis and all they're about right now with this group is trying to get them, as he put it, to man up. He thinks that their intensity and their, the way that they've played and they've battled has been really inconsistent throughout this season, and that's one of their major aims out of this northern road trip. They saw some real positives out of last night in Cairns, but want to make sure that they don't just let that slip and hopefully give Townsville a good nudge tonight.
All right, about to get underway. You would expect a comfortable Townsville victory tonight, but going on what happened in the first game, one can never ever judge on what may happen or what should happen. It's what actually does happen that matters most, and we saw a Flames side that was completely dominated from the tip-off. One doesn't expect that to happen here with the quality and the experience of the Townsville Heat side. Yeah,
look, I think most people would expect the Heat to come away with a comfortable win here. But, we saw in the last game, we can't make assumptions. Special shout-out, those watching, you'll notice that the Heat are wearing black armbands tonight. That's to pay tribute to a great family for the Townsville basketball in the Froling family. Unfortunately, Shane Froling, Harry's lost his father overnight, so Harry's grandfather, passed away after a quick battle with cancer. So, our thoughts go out to the Froling family, and we've got the two sisters in the house watching the game tonight as well. So, hopefully, Harry can put that all beside himself and come out with a good performance tonight.
We're about to find out. About to get underway, and our condolences to the Froling family. Tip is first possession is with Townsville, and it's Crawford. There's Wiltshire hands it off to Froling, who went to Crawford, who went back to Froling. Frolling's going to shoot the three and make it. That's a very positive start.
And the Spartans running out with a lineup of Philp, Volkman, Eustace, King and Magnay here. So you'd think particularly Volkman and Magnay, they're going to try and look to play through those guys inside and kick out as they just have then.
And Philp with the shot, sorry.
Yeah, just to try and get some good ball movement, get a touch in the paint first, where speaking with Coach Anderson before the game, he's going to try and trust his troops first up and play straight up without having to force double teams or anything.
Okay, Wiltshire with the ball down the floor for Townsville. Froling, Crawford out to Wiltshire. Jet with his first possession. And down the lane he goes. And that was a little bit simple for Jordan Jet. 5-zip Townsville.
And a steal straight away from Jet off the inbound. Unfortunately, they don't take advantage.
And a shot at the other end of the floor from Volkman. And they get two back, so it's 5-2 Townsville. As Wiltshire has possession, Baker, Crawford, inside he goes, Froling, doesn't drop, doesn't get the tip on the rebound to drop either, and it will be a ball inbound for Southern Districts, and Magnay will take possession for the visitors. Deshaun King, their import, down the floor. And King down the middle, and nice work.
Yeah, come off the screen from Magnay and dragged, hesitation, then good second attack, and just caught the Heat defender on his heels a little bit.
Here's Crawford for three, and Magnay with the rebound for Southern Districts. There's King with possession now. Townsville opened up with the first 5, and Southern Districts have replied with the next 4. As they have possession now through Philp. And they're asking for a touch, and referee Voverden says no can do. Townsville ball.
So just tried to feed on the slip then, and a little hand in from the Heat. I thought Spartans might have been a bit unlucky. Heat might have got last touch, but I'm sure those calls are leaving themselves out throughout the fixture.
It will be an inbound pass for Townsville. 7:42 left first term. They lead by 1. Jet goes to Crawford, and the foul there called on Volkman, and just a little mismatch there for Peter Crawford.
So Spartans going to a zone on the baseline out of bounds here. Ball coming to the side now, and presume they will stay with the same defence.
So Crawford will inbound. Jet. Wilshire cross court in the left 45. Pulls up now Crawford for a long 2. Doesn't drop. Rebound is with Southern Districts, and they're down the floor in transition through King, who pulls up, jacks up the 3, and that quick shot was poor.
Yeah, a lot of glass in that, not a lot of rings. So Wilshire comes back the other way quickly, and a nice little floater at the front of the rim.
7-4 Townsville lead, 7:05 left first term. King, screen set for him by Magnay. And back out to Volkman. Volkman misses with the long 2. And a heads-up play from Frolling onto the leg of King, and they'll get the inbound pass, Townsville. As Wilshire brings the ball down the floor in transition for Townsville. Frolling, left side Wilshire. Crawford. And the pass, I think, just too good for Frolling.
Yeah, just I think Frolling thought he was going up for the shot then and was ready to rush in and get on the glass, and just didn't quite have his hands up ready.
Crawford been a focal point for Townsville early on.
Yeah, look, his early season form was very good. He didn't have the greatest of weekends last weekend where his production was a little bit down, but this Townsville team, you know, all the 5 out there to start off with, particularly great dangerous contributors that can have their night on any night.
Turnover by Southern Districts, a little under 6.5 minutes left first term. Wilshire with possession. Gets Frolling open on the baseline for 3. Doesn't drop. Jet got a hand in there on the rebound, knocked it away, but King was able to drag it back in for Southern Districts, and he brings the ball down the floor in transition. Philp with the pass, and Volkman gets fouled. So it'll be a ball in for Southern Districts.
Yeah, Volkman just got inside position there off the good penetration from Philp. Crawford came over a little bit late and deflected the ball away, but went through his back at the same time. So we'll see Spartans ball on the baseline here.
Philp will inbound for Southern Districts. Eustace for 3 and gets it. So we're all square, 7 apiece.
A little bit more of a settled start than the first game we saw tonight, and we see Spartans continuing in this zone.
Jet, Wilshire, Crawford, this time on the right side. He's been on the left side predominantly. Here's Wilshire into the middle, misses with the floater, and Volkman with the rebound for the visitors as Philp brings down the ball down the floor for the Spartans. Volkman along the baseline, got underneath the hoop and couldn't do much with it. Frolling with the rebound for Townsville. He's down the floor in transition and puts it away. Good work. Harry Frolling's had a bright start to this first term, and the first time out of the night is called.
Timeout called by the Spartans there, I believe. So, probably a little bit premature. I would have thought that the game was ticking along all right. Coach Thompson's obviously seen something he wants to have a bit of a chat to his group about, and something he's not happy with. So whether it's a little adjustment to some breakdowns in the zone D, but they've certainly kept themselves well in the game early here. see there's no subs looking like they're coming in this first time out, so it's just a bit of a rallying of the troops. Maybe Thompson using this as a bit of fatigue management as well off the back of the double. Again, they were in Cairns last night and were in the game right till deep, so their main players played a lot of minutes last night.
So about player management more so than any sort of real issue?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, just I suppose a little bit of a surprise with the game the situation was to burn a timeout that early.
9-7 in favour of Townsville, and Frolling with 5 of those 9. Jet and Wiltshire the other scorers. Well, Frolling on the back of 2 or 4, but 1 of 2 from deep as well. And a bright start from Harry Frolling in this contest.
Yeah, look, Harry, I think his first game of the season, he probably wasn't really happy with the way he contributed, and you know, he's gotten a little bit better and a little bit more comfortable in his role with this team every game. Had a great weekend away last weekend, a couple of those games in front of his new Adelaide 36ers coach and Joey Wright, who was there spectating on the weekend.
Southern Districts, Volkman went to King. Now to Eustace, and it'll be a Townsville ball as he turns it over.
Just Wilshire getting in and deflected that down onto the leg, and Townsville ball now to try and come back and attack, and looks like Spartans continuing in this 2-3 zone.
Crawford, left side Wilshire. The alley-oop pass and the dunk from Jordan Jet.
Yeah, great play, just reversal, waited for the zone to shift. High man on the low side came a little bit too high, which allowed that lob for Jet on the alley-oop.
And there's an off-ball offensive foul, and it's called on King. And we'll have the first substitution of the evening. And Dylan Gray comes into the contest for Southern Districts. Mitch Philp gets to sit down.
Yeah, Philp just a little bit suspect on his leg. Stolberg told me before the game a little bit of Achilles tightness after last night's game, so they might need to manage him a little bit tonight.
Townsville with possession. Wilshire on King. Wilshire. Jet gets the 2 off the glass and we'll go to the line for an extra one.
And that's where you sort of question that first time out from Southern Districts. You know, you only get 2 in the first half. They've burned that first one when they're only down 9-7. Suddenly the Heat come out with 2 good, couple of good offensive possessions, easy scores. And now Coach Thompson's sort of stuck and can only manage through substitutions now.
And a couple of more changes for Southern Districts as Quigley comes in for Eustace, and also into the game was Grinnick. Jordan Jet at the line for an extra one. 4:23 left first term, 13-7 Townsville, and he misses the bonus as Gray has possession for the visitors. The 3-point shot is missed. Jordan Jet with the rebound, down the floor in transition. He goes to Crawford, who is fouled.
On the floor, looks like Gray there just got the body on Crawford on the catch. We'll see some substitutions for Townsville here finally with McCulley and Reese coming into the game.
As Crawford
and Baker take a seat.
And McCulley will inbound. Rees back to Wiltshire. He's going to pull up the 3 and make it. It's interesting that timeout was called at 9-7, and the timeout has done nothing for Southern Districts, has it?
No, it's actually just given Townsville a little bit of a kick on. So another stop there from the Heat.
Wiltshire, left side, McCulley backs away.
Districts matching up now. They've come out of the zone.
Jet, Frolling for 3, makes another one. 2 or 3 from deep for Harry Frolling. It's 19-7 to Townsville, and that's 8.
10 zip, I think, since that time out.
Yep, and 8 points in the contest for Harry Frolling in this first term. Here's King. Back with possession from Gray is King.
Good extra pass by Districts, leads to the open shot, just unfortunately can't convert.
As Townsville have possession down the floor through Wiltshire. Frolling pulls up for the quick three and makes it. He's feeling it. That's 11 in the term for Harry Frolling. I wonder if Joey Wright's watching and liking what he sees tonight so far.
Oh, look, I'm sure Joey, if he's not watching tonight, he'll be having a look at this tape sometime through the week, so we'll give him a little shout out.
Here's King for 3 from deep, and that's their first point since the timeout when it was 9-7. 22-10 in favour of Townsville. Wiltshire, and they just got in each other's way there. I think the pass was intended for Rees, and Frolling had his eyes all over it. Other end of the floor, and Gray is fouled, and they'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, look, I think off that on ball on the wing, Rees just re-screened, came back. You know, Wiltshire, I think, was looking for Rees, as you said. Frolling just obviously imposing himself on the game right now, tried to get after it, and just tangled up upon each other.
A couple of changes for Townsville. Keegan Tudhope in, and so too Matthew White. As Gray at the line for the first of 2, and he misses that first one.
The blue crew down the baseline, very happy with that result.
Yeah, as they would be. And he misses both at the foul line, and they get the rebound, Townsville. So we've got 4 non-starters on the floor for Townsville at the moment.
Yeah, with Wiltshire the only starter out there, just steering the ship.
Here's White, pulls up, got a good look, and got it away. So it's 24-10. Philp back out there for Southern Districts. Gray with possession. Philp on White. Coming to give him a hand is Rees. Philp gets by Rees, puts up a floater. It goes, the 2 count. He'll go to the line for an extra one. Yeah, 24-12.
Good early switch by Rees. Did a good job to take away the first shot, but Philp just smart. You know, waited for the space to create itself and then attacked his body, good floater, and just picks up that foul on Rees.
Philp at the line for the bonus. Now the blue crew are working. They missed their last 3 foul shots.
I don't know if they're fueled from some action out at the Turf Club this afternoon, but they're certainly in good spirits at the moment.
Wilson misses the 3. Rebound knocked away from Quigley, but it'll be an inbound ball for Southern Districts from the baseline. Big day out at Cluden, the start of the Winter Carnival with the 2-year-old Classic today. So potentially there's a bit of fuel.
There's certainly a few better dressed people in the house tonight than what you normally see at the basketball. Not necessarily the blue crew.
Yeah. So Magnay is fouled. He'll go to the line for a couple of shots here. It has steadied a little bit. 24-12. 1:18 left first term. And Magnay short. They've missed their last 4 at the foul line. And that's only going to fuel the fire, isn't it, down that end?
They're enjoying themselves.
Oh, yeah. And we'll have a substitution for Townsville. Baker back in. And Rees will sit down. It's Townsville with possession. Wiltshire.
You see the zone back from Districts here.
McCulley, and there's a hands in there from behind by Philp. He's beaten on the screen set by Tudhope, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Just an easy reach around foul. Copped a little bit of arm, and now McCulley will go to the line for team fouls.
65 seconds left first term. And Brendan McCulley at the foul line. Makes the first one. And misses the second one. So we can't say the foul shooting has been fantastic so far this evening. Gray. Philp back to Gray along the baseline. Baker did some good help D there for Tudhope. Philp deep in the left corner for 3. It's short, and it'll be last off Townsville and will be a possession for Southern Districts.
So opportunity here for Southern Districts just to get this thing down below 10 going into quarter time.
Eustace. And knocked away from Quigley. Quigley. Now Eustace with possession, pulls up, shoots the 3 as the shot clock wound down to 1. Baker with the rebound for Townsville to Wilshire, who's played the whole term. 4 of his starting mates got a rest. But Wilshire with this possession, there's about a 4-second differential, a little over 4-second differential. Shot and game clock. Screen set for Wilshire by Baker. He misses the 2. Baker gets the rebound, can't put it away. Gray with possession down the floor in transition. Philp pulls up, shoots the 3, and it's short right on quarter time. So quarter time, the home side, the Townsville Flames, lead the Southern District Spartans by 25 points to 13.
Yeah, look, the Heat, positive start for them there. They, first 5 or so minutes, as we talked about, was fairly even. 9-7 when the Districts team called that timeout, and then the Heat blew it away a little bit in that first part of the back end of the quarter. Went on a nice run to give themselves some gap and then just managed that through the back end of the quarter with some substitutions. Got plenty of fresh bodies through there, and that will definitely benefit as the game goes on.
A very impressive start for Harry Froling. He hit a 2-pointer early in the contest, 11 points for the term in his 7 minutes 44.
Yeah, look, Harry's just going from strength to strength. We talked about that a little bit earlier. He had an outstanding road trip last weekend. I think there was a YouTube clip going viral around last week where he almost did a massive dunk. Unfortunately, back of the ring did against Toowoomba, which went a little bit viral. But he had an awesome weekend with production throughout the whole game or whole 3 games, and looking just to carry that on tonight.
So Townsville with 25 first quarter points. And the game hasn't recommenced.
No, we just had the quarter time Harvey Norman putt for cash here, where the one of the punters off the out of the crowd came and putted a golf ball 3/4 the length through the court through a little hole, and not sure what he quite won for himself there, but he's very excited about it.
400 cash?
Yeah, not sure. I see he's donning a Wallabies jersey, so hopefully that's a good omen for the Wallabies against Ireland in Brisbane tonight.
Players back out on the floor. So of those 25 first quarter points, Froling with 11, Jett with 6, and Wiltshire with 5. For the Spartans, it was 5 points to Deshaun King, and then you had a spread of 3, 2-2 for Eustace, Volkman, and also Philp. So second term underway, and Southern Districts with first possession, and Philp has it to King. And Wiltshire gets a spell at the start of this term as King goes along the baseline and converts with the floater.
Yeah, we see Jared Figg come in for his first minutes tonight, so he certainly won't slow the game down. He's a bit of a spark plug out there and will look to push the ball aggressively.
Froling, inside they go. Baker outside. The man you just mentioned, Figg, with the 2, doesn't drop, and the rebound is with Magnay. And now Philp down the court for Southern Districts. A touch there from Figg, and he's forced the turnover. Figg, he's got some support with Tudhope, and he put it away.
Yeah,
good play by Jared Figg.
Great urgency, just all over Philp, caused a disruption, scrambled to get after the loose ball, and great support backing up in the trail from Tudhope.
Quigley shot, puts it back outside to King, and he's called for the travel. He's gone hell no.
Yeah, not happy with the call, but call's been made, need to move on.
Yeah, look, he's just got the old Gregory Peck over there. Or it might actually be Cash, the gentleman in the Wallabies jumper. He's counting it too, don't worry about that. Jet. Frolling. Almost turned it over. Tudo. Outside. Baker for 3. Makes it. 30-15 in favour of Townsville. As Southern Districts come back over half court. King gets a screen from Quigley, and then Magnay shoots the 3 and makes a tough shot.
Yeah, look, everything's tough for Districts at the moment, though. They're just working off the on-ball screens. You know, the movement isn't great, so it's not, you know, dragging defenders out of places. They're just having to hit some tough shots now, which they're doing.
Baker inside, Frolling with the dunk. 32-18, 7:57 left, second term.
It was polar opposite there for the Heat. You saw the ball go through 3-4 sets of hands, high post catch, find the high-low pass, and Frolling finishes with the dunk.
Philp inside to Magnay, backing in on Baker. And nice work. Good hook shot.
Yeah, impressive finish over the left shoulder. Just, you know, they need to probably look at those options and try and feed the ball into the post a bit more.
Baker, it's just basket for basket at the moment. And whilst that happens, Townsville are happy.
The zone here for the Heat again.
King with possession. Jet guarding him. Fig comes to give him a hand. Philp for 3. It's long. Jet up there with Frolling. They worried Magnay out of the rebound, and Jet brings it down the floor in transition. Baker. Fig had a foot on the line when he went to take off. So there'll be a Districts ball. A couple of changes. Crawford back into the contest for Townsville, and Volkman back into the contest for Southern Districts. Eustace. Volkman goes to Philp, back to Volkman at the foul line, back outside to Baker. Inside they go. And Magnay lost control of it and then tried to slap it home, didn't he?
Yeah, look, lost control, but you know, I like that offense a lot more from the Spartans. They moved the ball, made Townsville play some D, made rotation round, and Magnay just, you know, went to the same shot he had before, just the ball slipped out of his hands at the worst time.
Baker backing in on Volkman. Doesn't go off the window. Magnay with the rebound. And Philp with possession. And there'll be a foul call against Townsville. And that's Crawford. It's his second. And Philp with possession now for Southern Districts. King. Baseline is Magnay. Gets his own rebound and then gets fouled by Baker. So he'll go to the line for a couple.
Yeah, good things are happening for the Spartans right now, though. Like the score's staying relatively even, but they've changed their method a little bit. Magnay's got touch after touch in the post, and now he's rewarding himself by going to the foul line and hopefully convert some shots here.
Wiltshire back in for Fig. As Magnay's at the foul line for 2. Not an area where they've been good tonight. Before this trip, they were 1 of 5. As he gets the first one. And misses the second one, so 2 of 7 at the foul line. As Frolling after the rebound. Wiltshire. Crawford. Crawford looking to go baseline. Gets it to Baker around the corner. Crawford. And turned it over. King down the floor. Pulls up for a long range 3. He was confident, but it was short. And Townsville with the rebound through Baker.
Yeah, a bit of blood rush there, I think, from King. If he had his time over again, might have chose a different option.
Jordan Jet gets fouled, and he'll go to line for a couple. There's a change or two for Southern Districts. Magnay sits down, so too does King and Gray and Quigley back into the game.
So referee just having a quick chat to Thompson. I think they were pleading for a push-off on Jett on that last play.
Makes the first at the foul line. And makes both. 5:30 left, second term. Townsville 36. Southern District Spartans 21. Eustace. Screen set by Quigley. Eustace pulls up at the foul line. Shoots a tough shot, but they get the rebound through Quigley. And now it's with Philp. Volkman doesn't go to him. Goes to Gray, and it's slapped away by Baker. The pass was intended for Volkman, but Baker got his right duke in there and swatted it away. Now Jett penetrating and gets fouled again. And it's causing Southern District some problems, that penetration from Jordan Jett.
Yeah, look, and Jett's a professional player. He's going against probably a much younger opponent here who has nowhere near the same level of basketball experience. So Jett's just finding that one-on-one isolation on the wing and exploiting that and getting hard at the rim and rewarding himself by getting to the foul line.
And misses the first one, so a bit of schooling happening here.
And look, you'd expect that from somebody who's played, multiple NBL seasons and internationally all over the place against someone who's probably just grown up as a Brisbane junior, as a Spartans junior, and graduating into the
program. Yeah. Yep. Makes one of two at the line, does Jett. It's a 16-point Townsville lead. Less than 5 minutes left, second term. Philp. Guarded by Wiltshire. Nice pass, finds Eustace open on the right wing for three.
Yeah, nice little turnout play there. They were very patient, got their screen timing right. Jett tried to shoot over the top, and the flare led to a good three-point shot.
Jett on Eustace. Baker. Backing in on Quigley. Dishes it back outside. Jett steps back outside the three-point line. Misses with the shot. Gray with the rebound for Southern Districts. Down the floor to Eustace. Gray. Quigley. Philp now with possession. Screen set by Volkman. He comes out of that. Finds Gray. Gray on Wiltshire. Shot clock's winding down, and there's a travel violation. So the shot clock had wound down to 2. Whilst there was some ball movement, they didn't really find anyone in good position to shoot, did they?
No, just, Townsville just continued to concentrate, fan out, block up the keyway, fan out, did a good job of it, and just led to that indecision by Philp with the extra step.
Rolling to Wiltshire. Inside they go. Baker backing in on Quigley over his head for 2. 39-24 Townsville. Southern Districts trailing by 15. Philp with possession. Quigley. King off the window. Nice move. Deshaun King. He helps himself to 2 more. He has 12.
Yeah, attacked a pretty poor closeout from Frolling there, but Frolling comes back the other way. Doesn't quite finish strong, and he's struggled a little bit in his second stint here after a very impressive first stint.
He appeared in 2 minds then with that shot. As King now gets fouled by Jett. The 2 will count, and he'll go to the line for a bonus. So it's 14 now for King.
Yeah, it's back to 11. They've done a good job.
Away, yeah.
They're actually leading this quarter at the moment. We see a timeout for the Spartans here with 3 minutes left in the second quarter.
And they'll come out of this timeout and go to the foul line. But they've chipped away. Deshaun King making a presence now with 14 in the contest. He's got half the Spartans' points.
Yeah, they've just they've moved the ball a little bit better in this second half of this quarter. Early in this quarter, in the first quarter we talked about, they were just simply playing out on-ball screens and not making the Townsville D have to react or rotate in any way, shape or form, whereas in this second quarter we've seen some turnout actions, we've seen the ball going into the low post and just making Townsville have to make decisions off the ball as to whether they come and help or whether they re-stretch out. And that's led to them getting some high percentage shots.
Frolling is the leading scorer in the game with 13. Sorry, King with 14, but Frolling leads Townsville scorers with 13, Jet with 9, and 7 for Baker. For the visitors, the Spartans, it's almost a lone hand at the moment. Deshaun King with 14, Eustace with 6. But he certainly is the focal point as far as the visitors are concerned. And he'll be at the foul line here for an extra one, where they've shot poorly so far tonight at 2 of 7. And surely that's where you need to get the work done, isn't it?
Yeah, this is King's first trip there, so we'll see if he can do the right thing by his team.
He does. Puts that away. 15 now and the leading scorer in the game. King, it's 39-30. It's back under double figures. Crawford with possession for Townsville. Wilshire, and there's an illegal screen called on Baker.
Yeah, just a last-minute shift to the right by Baker there on the pin-down screen for Wilshire, and probably the correct call. I don't think Coach Anderson's happy about it, but it's not going to change, so move on.
So name me a coach that's ever happy with a referee's call other than the one that gets it. Not on it. Eh?
It wouldn't be a long list, Tony.
No. Phil gets it within 7 now. 8, in fact. 39-31. Wilshire misses with the shot. And then Crawford almost gets the steal. Phil. And then
Magnay coming away from that. I think he might have copped a little knock into a delicate male part.
Yep.
And
And Rees gets his first points of the night, and Townsville coach being spoken to now. And there's a warning there to the Townsville bench. McCulley on for Townsville. Crawford sits down. (41-31). Townsville lead by 10. Philp for Southern Districts. King off the pass from Volkman. King got it back to Volkman outside. Philp's got a good look for 3 and doesn't disappoint.
very disjointed defensively there from the Heat. They didn't look like they were on the same page as to whether it was man or zone. In the end, led to a very open shot.
Baker. Rees goes to Jet. Jet gets around King, pulls up at the foul line. You've got a couple of hands in the back there, or is it foul's called? And Jordan Jet will go to the line for a couple of substitutions now. Frolling has sat down long enough. He's back into the game. And Baker sits down. Jordan Jet at the foul line. First of 2 goes away. And makes both, and we'll get to have a seat as Keegan Tudhope comes back in. Into double figures now. The import, Jordan Jet, has 11. And Philp with possession to Gray. And back to Philp. Looking at his options. Shot clock is in single figures. He's going to have to shoot long for 3.
Again, just some miscommunication on the zone there. Led Phil open for that last shot. The Heat just need to get their house in order a little bit on the defensive end right now.
Wilshire, penetration. Shot doesn't drop, but he gets fouled. He'll go to the line for 2. And Townsville 6 of 9 from the foul line. So both sides visiting there fairly regularly. As a substitution is called, McGowan comes in for his first game time tonight.
Wilshire at the line, just trying to pump this back out over the 10-point margin.
He gets it to double figures. Wiltshire misses the second one. So you couldn't say either side have been fantastic at the foul line tonight, have they?
No.
Here's King. And the three from McCowan doesn't go, but King gets the rebound and gets another two. Helps himself to that. It's 44-36 Townsville inside the last 40 seconds of the term. Judo, Wiltshire. So will they work for another possession, Townsville? There's Wiltshire. Penetration, reverse layup doesn't go. And Southern District should have the last possession of the term, and I think they'd be pretty happy with their work in this term.
Yeah, look, they've trimmed the margin back. They've got it into that single digits right now.
King pulls up for three. It's long. Rebound is with Wiltshire. They'll get an opportunity. Frolling from half court. Almost made it.
Almost made it. It was probably fortunate for Southern Districts not to get a foul there. He got a serious body check on the shot, and the referee decided to ignore it.
After a bright start in the first term, the Southern Districts have clawed their way. They're certainly not out of the contest. 8 points is not immeasurable,
yeah, look,
not insurmountable.
I think the Heat, the major point I would imagine Coach Anderson's going to talk about here is just mental application. You know, when I spoke to him earlier today, you know, the worry when you're playing a game like this and you're top of the table and you're expected to win against a team that hasn't won a game yet, that your mind can just check out. And after that sensational little burst they had in the first quarter, then rolled the subs through, and they just sort of lost their rhythm for a little bit then, and Southern Districts have taken full advantage of that and got themselves back into the game.
Not only offensively, but defensively, they lost some.
Yeah, so, you know, Spartans only had 13 points in the first quarter, 23 in the second quarter. So defensively they switched off a little bit, were losing what they were doing, and they really need to just sharpen up their focus a little bit. And I'm sure if they can do that, they should come away with a comfortable win here. But the Spartans aren't going to make anything easy for them in this second half.
No, certainly not. At halftime here at Star FM Stadium in Townsville, the Townsville Heat lead the Southern District Spartans 44-36. couple of minutes away from the start of the third term at Star FM Stadium here in Townsville, where the home side, the Townsville Heat, lead the Southern District Spartans 44-36. Tony Parsons with Mark Roble. Mark, you've managed to get in the ear of a couple of coaches during the break?
Yeah, I did. Managed to catch Coach Anderson for the Heat boys, and he spoke a little bit about his disappointment for their urgency on the defensive end in the first half. He just thought they were nowhere near as disruptive enough as what they could be. They're just allowing the Spartans to move the ball wherever they wanted to, so he wants them to climb up in the lanes a bit harder, try and force some turnovers, and then that might just continue to push the offensive end over, whereas managed to catch the assistant coach for the Spartans, Stolly, again, and have a bit of a chat to him, and his talk was more about they were happy with their efforts in the first half. They need to continue that, but some of their shot selection, wasn't ideal. Some of the transition shots they took, they weren't overly excited about, and just wanted to more try and play a bit of a settled game and run some offensive sets and try and get the ball through hands a bit more in the second half.
Interesting, though, that one stat I read with interest is that the Townsville have 12 points from turnovers, whereas Southern Districts have only 2. And no second chance points from Townsville either. Look,
that was the other point that Rodney made, was he was absolutely annoyed that they've only got, I think, 1-0 board at the moment. So they're just not going hard enough at that, and that needs to be a trait in their game that they pick up in this second half.
Deshaun King is leading all scorers with 17 for the Southern District Spartans, and for Townsville their leading scorer is Harry Frolling with 13, and 11 of those in the first term. Much quieter second term for Harry Frolling, as players back out onto the floor for this third term. Back to both the starting lineups. It'll be a Townsville possession to start this third term. And Frolling will inbound to Wiltshire, and we're underway for the second half. Townsville lead by 8 at the main break, 44-36, and they have first possession of the third term. Wiltshire on King. Frolling, good look for 3, and made it. Just what the doctor ordered there.
Great start for the Heat. Obviously what they would have wanted. Good ball movement, led to an open shot and knocked that down.
Frolling now has 16, as Magnay has possession. Eustace, and there's an off-the-ball foul against Volkman, was it? Or was it against
Magnay? Magnay, yeah. So I did speak to Stolly, and he did say that Magnay's just a little bit tender in the groin area, a little stretch when he went off there just before half-time, but he should be fine to continue through this half.
As he pushes him down from his cheeks. Jet. Wiltshire, alley-oop pass again for Jet, and he gets fouled. He'll go to the line.
Good back screen by Baker there, just freed up Jet enough to, and pinpoint pass, I think by Wiltshire it was. Jet converts, and exactly the start that the Heat wanted out of this half.
So they've earned themselves the first 5 points of the term. There's Jet, who's in double figures at the foul line, where he's earned a few of those points tonight. 6 of his points have come at the foul line. And he converted. It's 50-36. Volkman, King on Frolling, pulls up at the foul line. Fadeaway doesn't go, gets his own rebound. It was a long rebound, and then can't put it away, and then Frolling is travelled.
A good jam up on the D board there, and Frolling just losing his balance. Thought he might have got fouled, but the ball's gone the way of the Spartans here.
And will be inbound by Eustace. Philp, Wilsh came out to put some pressure on him defensively, almost turned it over, and did.
The Townsville bench down there up and about, trying to give some energy to their team on the court.
There's a long pass down the floor from Wiltshire to Baker, and Baker puts it away up the window. And they've got the opening 8 points of this term. So it's gone from 44-36. They now lead by 16. On an 8-0 run to start this third term. Magnay, Eustace.
There's Jet getting in the lane. Coach Anderson will be happy about that steal.
And then hands it off to Baker. And it gets swatted away by Magnay. I don't know that he saw, or the eyes in the back of his head weren't working. Eustace at the other end, and the block this time from Frolling. As Townsville work their way down the floor through Jet, missed it. Frolling missed the rebound, put back, and then missed the rebound on the second attempt. Eustace will convert for Southern Districts with their first points of the term.
Yeah, a little sloppy passage there. It was a bit up and down. Southern Districts finally getting the settler, and we're back into a bit of half-court game now with Frolling attacking in the low block.
And Magna, a little unlucky there.
I imagine this must be with a push with the body. Yeah, the up high looked pretty good, so just a little bit of a body check whether he's called for.
And Frolling will go to the foul line. And like his first quarter, it's been an impressive start to this term.
Yeah, he's come out ready to play. Probably, I'm sure knowing Harry wouldn't have been happy with his performance in that second quarter, so come out ready to go in this third quarter and start ticking the scoreboard over again.
Makes the first of two at the foul line. And makes both sides regular visitors to the foul line in this game. 54-38, 16-point advantage to Townsville. Quigley, bounce pass to Philp, got it away to King, lost it, got it back to Eustace. Shot clock in single figures as Philp shoots a tough three and makes it.
Yeah, tough three. Had a hand right in his face from Crawford there, but you know, Philp, if he gets hot, he can be a very dangerous prospect. We've seen him for Rocky in the past, you know, really light up the court, so Townsville will need to make sure that he doesn't get going.
Crawford for three. Had a couple of goes. And missed the shot.
Eustace did a good job just to bother him enough there, and PC won't be happy with that attempt at all.
And the foul called on Frolling, and that'll send Volkman to the foul line for two. First team foul of the term for Townsville. 6:55 left in this third term. Townsville lead by 13. Leaders got as much as 16 in this term when they scored the opening 8 points. It's 54-41 with Volkman at the line for the first of two. Very noisy crowd as he makes both. Very noisy crowd, Mark.
Yeah, look, they've made some noise. They were kept very quiet in the first game of tonight.
Well,
but,
they're taken right out of it, weren't they? The first one.
They've tried to have an effect in this encounter, though.
Crawford gets fouled, and a hands foul from behind on Philp, who's not happy with the call. He reckons he got a lot of ball there, and then probably questions about a decision at the other end of the floor then. Inbound, Frolling, left open. That's poor D. He doesn't make the most of it, but he was just left wide open then, Mark.
Yeah, the Spartan zone just wasn't quite ready for that inbound.
King, Eustace, Philp. He created the contact there, didn't he? King.
Yeah, he did. The referee decided not to give him that call, but
Baker with the rebound for Townsville. Yeah, well, Philp did create all the contact with Crawford. Wiltshire, some hands in there from behind. Probably lucky not to be called for the foul. King. Jet shoots the three over Eustace. Rattles around, doesn't drop. Philp with the rebound. He does look a little proppy at times, doesn't he? Especially when he's changing direction. Pulls up and shoots the three and makes it.
Yeah, he's starting to feel good about himself out there, though. Those couple of made threes. Now, he is a very hot shooter when he gets going, so the Heat might need to just make a little defensive adjustment on him.
Well, after scoring the opening 8 points, it's back to level for the term. Both sides have scored 10 points apiece. Townsville scoring the opening 8 of this term. King, Eustace for three. It's long, and with the rebound is Crawford for Townsville. And they've slowed up somewhat, Townsville, haven't they?
Yeah, they definitely have. They just got a little bit bogged down when they've got in the half court.
Crawford back outside to Wiltshire. Shot clock is down to 2. Crawford puts it up as the shot clock expires. Rebound with Baker. Inside, Wiltshire was just loitering under the post and gets the 2.
Great find by Baker. Was ready to elevate on the putback. Just a little, reverse pivot. Found Wiltshire underneath the hoop for a very easy layup.
Back to a double-figure lead for Townsville, 56-46. King, Quigley, Philp. Shoots a long 3. Rebound for Townsville for Jet. Bullet-like pass. Crawford almost had his pocket picked. Got it back. Got the 2. And we'll have a timeout. 58-46. Well, he almost had the pocket picked then, Mark, but he got it back and was able to convert. And Townsville have a 12-point lead with 4:25 left in the third term.
Yeah, just a little bit up-tempo those last couple of minutes. And Thompson had actually come to the bench and called that timeout before that last score. So he's obviously, again, just trying to think about management of bodies here, making sure these players have got the rest that they need. Hopefully this timeout doesn't work out for him like the one in the first quarter did. But they're doing really well, the Spartans here. For a team that hasn't won a game yet, they've certainly shown some signs where they're not far away from that first win. And if the Heat aren't careful and don't continue to execute well down tonight, they could be well in this game down the fourth quarter.
Again, I'll highlight the fact that Townsville have got 17 points from the 11 turnovers that the Spartans have given off.
Yeah, look, and you always want to take advantage of those turnovers, and the Heat have done that really well. So to me, that's straight away, as a Spartans coach, you've got to talk about that ball security, making sure that we're not feeding that break for the Heat. If we can keep them into that half-court game, at least slow them down. The point scoring, you got 17 off those turnovers. They haven't been quite as professional in the half-court game.
After the timeout, back underway. Philp inside to Volkman. Quigley takes on Frolling, gets it to Volkman. Good block from Frolling. He recovered well.
He did, yeah. A little slip by Volkman. Frolling just got caught up underneath Baker for a second there, but thankfully used his length for the Heat and took that shot away.
Philp with the long 2, doesn't drop. And Wiltshire with the rebound for Townsville down the floor. I'll have a question for you on Harry Frolling in just a moment. We'll get an opportunity here as Baker is fouled. We'll go to the line. I know his dad, Shane, had about 15 elbows, I reckon, when he played. There'd be quite a number of players who would attest to that. What's Harry like compared to his old man?
Look, he's probably a little bit more polished skill-wise than what his old man was. I'm not sure if his old man's watching the game tonight, and if he is, I'll probably hear about this on Monday or even before I get home. But, look, very different skill sets. Like Shane was the workman, the screener, the rebounder, the aggressive type player when he needed to be, whereas Harry's a lot more delicate and, a lot more skillful, greater shot range. And I'm sure in Harry's mind, a far better player than what his dad ever was.
Maybe got his bit of his mum's skill, did he?
He must have, yes.
That bit of polish as Philp shoots the long 3, doesn't go. Wiltshire will get a long rebound. Down the floor in transition, waiting for the Townsville troops to join him. Here's Baker. Baker's pulling up and shooting and making the 3. 16-point Townsville lead, 62-46.
So Heat dropping back into a zone here off that make. Just trying to mix it up a little bit and take the Spartans out of their offense.
Here's Philp. Eustace with the 3, doesn't drop. Frolling with the rebound. Down the floor in transition, he'll go to Jet, and that's nice work. Nice little 1-2 play.
Yeah, just the running game there, obviously. They're very well drilled in what they do there, the Heat, and the Spartans just didn't get their numbers back in time. When you've got a 6'10", 6 foot, whatever Harry is, and his ability to take a rebound and then just push the ball down the floor, though, it makes it really hard for a defensive team.
Southern Districts with the long rebound. Here's Volkman, and the 2 will count, and the foul will be called on Frolling. So it's 64-50. 2:41 left in the term, and Volkman will go to the line for a bonus. 64-48, not 50.
Reese and McCulley come back into the game here for the Heat.
And Tude Hope as well. Volkman converts at the foul line, and it's 64-49. They've done a fair job on King in this quarter. He hasn't scored at this 7.5 minutes into the term.
Yeah, he probably hasn't even really had that many shots or shot opportunities either, Tony. They've done a good job sort of keeping him out of the offence.
Tude Hope with a hustling for the rebound. Wilshire resetting the screen. Wilshire does well and then lost the handle.
Yeah, I think he shook himself out of that move then.
Yep. He zigged, the ball zagged, and he lost it. And there's a travel violation against the Spartans. 15-point lead as Gray comes in for Eustace for Southern Districts. 2 minutes left in this third term. It's a 15-point Townsville lead, 64-49. And Townsville will come down the floor through Wilshire. McCulley. Back to Wilshire. Inside they go, Frolling.
Double team in the post there.
And he can't get it around the corner. And it's a turnover against Townsville. And Crawford comes back into the contest, and Frolling will get a seat.
And a bit of a smaller group for the Heat here now with...
And a warning for Harry Frolling walking off the floor there. I think he just was determining that he didn't quite agree with the call at the other end of the floor. And just wanted to get that point across. And then they turn it over and do Southern Districts.
It's a little bit of sloppy basketball by both teams the last couple of possessions. See if the Heat can rally themselves to get a good shot attempt on this possession.
Crawford, Tude Hope, Crawford, McCulley. McCulley drives baseline and gets fouled. Just wasn't quite in position then. Quigley.
Yeah, tried to cut off the baseline, didn't quite get there, and with team fouls, McCulley will go to the line now.
McCulley will go to the foul line, where Townsville are 11 of 16 tonight. And their opposition are 6 of 11. So both shooting percentages under 70 at the foul line. He's short with the second one. Quigley with the rebound for Southern Districts to King, who's been held scoreless in this third term. Grinick. Gray. Volkman backing in on Tude Hope. Gets some help from Rees, and Rees blocks the shot.
Yeah, just good wall up by Rees there. Allowed Volkman to...
And fouled on the three was Wilshire by Gray, and he'll go to the line.
I think it might have been an off the ball bump there. Yeah.
On Quigley.
So I'll see Tude Hope go to the line now.
He's probably got fouled because of that haircut. That's a shocker.
I won't comment on that, Tony. Oh. I'm not sure what's worse, the haircut or the moustache, but... It takes all sorts and all personalities to make this league tick over, though.
Absolutely. Tude Hope makes the first and gets the second one at the foul line. And a change for Townsville as Fig comes back into the game for Wilshire. And he provided some energy when he came on in the first half. As Townsville lead it by 18, 67-49. King inside the final 40 seconds of this term. Had 17 at the break, the major break, still has 17. They turn it over though, and Fig down the floor in transition, and kept Quigley very honest. And Quigley does well. Ultimately, heads up play from Fig. Had no other option or alternative but to throw it onto the body of Quigley. It'll be an inbounds for Townsville with 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Fig, cross court, Crawford for 3, misses. Tudhope nearly got he did get a touch on the rebound, nearly knocked it away, but it went fortuitously for Southern Districts into one of their own players. King. Rees comes out, putting a bit of pressure on King, and then
it's probably a matter of time for that foul to come there. Rees just stuck into the body. King just kept on one dribble away, and finally the referee decided enough was enough.
Third team foul on the Heat. Gray from deep, misses, and that'll be three-quarter time. And Townsville lead by 18 after they led by 8 at the major break. It's Townsville Heat 67, Southern District Spartans 49. In a quarter where the man who had made all the running for the Southern Districts in the first half, Deshaun King, was held scoreless.
Yeah, he was. The Heat did a great job of slowing him down in that quarter. I just wonder whether, the message from the coaches, the Spartans coaches at halftime, maybe put King into his shell a little bit. He was probably the one that in the first quarter took some shots where judgment might not have been the greatest, but made some of those, and slowing down, trying to execute their sets might have just, set his confidence back a little bit. So, we'll see if he comes out at the start of this quarter and tries to impose himself again on the game a bit.
So 23-13 quarter there for Townsville. Obviously, Coach Anderson would be happy with the defensive end of the floor in that third term. Yeah,
he'd be happy with the defensive end, but I'm sure that he's still would want more out of that offensive end of the floor. They picked up a couple of more row boards in that quarter. They got themselves up to 3 after only having 1 at half time. So they really do need to continue to chase that stuff down a lot harder, though.
So for Townsville, it's an 18-point game so far tonight for Harry Frolling, 16 for Jordair Jett, and 13 for Justin Baker. And for the visitors, they've got 2 in double figures, and Deshaun King with 17, and Mitch Philp with 13 of the double figure point scorers. Again, though, one area where I think Townsville would be very pleased would be the turnover area. It's 14-7 in that department, and off those 14 turnovers, Townsville scored 18 points, and
Spartans have only had 2 off those. So look, that's got to be the first instruction for the Spartans here: is look after the ball to give yourselves a chance of getting into this game. They can't afford to walk down and have a no-shot possession every single time. They need to make sure they're at least forcing a shot, even if it's a forced shot. That's better than a turnover, and it gives them the ability to set up their defence.
So this final term underway, and Townsville will have only one starter on the floor to start this final term. That's Peter Crawford. Early foul given away by Fig. And the Spartans have their starting 5 on the floor. As Philp goes baseline, backdoor pass to Volkman. Volkman on Tudhope goes to
Magnay with a nice finish with the left-hand hook there.
As Fig comes down the floor for Townsville. Crawford, and Rees had his back turn. And now a turnover against Townsville. We only spoke about those at three-quarter time. The half of what, and there's another 2 for Magnay. Sorry, that time it was Volkman.
Yeah, just got the smaller McCulley on his back in the post then, and nice little move, lost control of it, but was able to regain it back.
Opening 4 points of the term with the visitors. Rees back outside to McCulley. Now Fig half stumbles. Crawford along the baseline, back outside. Fig gets a good look for 3. It's short. Rebound ultimately ends up with King. And then there's a foul called on
unsportsmanlike called on Magnay here. It was just a two-handed shove off the ball. Pretty silly, just completely not required, right in front of the referee, and referee was probably left with little choice but to make that call.
And he gets dragged for his indiscretion by the coach. And Quigley back out there. So it'll be 2 in possession for Townsville. And they make the first of 2. And that's a little momentum killer there for Southern Districts. They'd scored the first 4 points of the term, and then they'd got that possession through King on the rebound.
And they're the ones that really hurt when you've actually done the good job. You've got the stop, you've got the ball, you're about to go the other way, and just a small brain explosion has led to having to chip away again after a free throw, and then things will really hurt if the Heat can get a score off this possession. And
they don't. Volkman gets the rebound, and down the floor in transition is Philp. And Mitch Philp works to the top of the keyway. Went for a little wonder there and ultimately put himself under a lot of pressure and turned it over. Fig. Crawford. Scoring-wise, he's had a quiet night. He's only got the 2 so far and misses with that 3-point attempt as Eustace comes down the floor. Philp. King, who's been scoreless since half-time, and right on cue puts another 2 away. It's now 68-55 and a 13-point game with 8 to go. It gets under 10, it gets interesting. And there's a foul called on Fig. Off the ball.
McCulley, I think they called that one on. So see Jet come in back into the game here. I thought it was an interesting lineup the Heat had there for a little while, because you had Fig, who's a rookie, played last year but not a noted scorer. McCulley, not a noted scorer. Tudope, not a noted scorer. So there was a lot of pressure on Reese and Crawford out there for a few minutes.
King on Jet. Jet doing a good job defensively. Forced him into a tough shot that he made.
King's woken up from his slumber now, and we're back to 11 points with 7.5 minutes to go.
There wasn't a lot more that Jet could have done in that situation, was there? As Crawford misses again from a long 2. Eustace. Crawford got a touch on it, but Eustace did well to keep possession. Philp. (68-57) in favour of the Heat. Shot clock at 2. He pulls up and shoots from very deep. There's King and then Jet. The foul on Quigley is the 3rd team foul of the term. Baker and Frolling will come back in for Townsville. Sitting down will be McCulley and Rees. And also Wiltshire comes in and Crawford sits down.
Look, that was just some lazy D by the Heat then, The long shot from King was obviously going to lead to a long board, and the players just turned and looked at it. Nobody boxed out, which led to Districts getting the ball back.
Philp on Baker. And Quigley. And another. Oh, we've got a 3-second violation.
Shot clock on that one, yeah. Yep. So Heat just doing a good job of rotating here. They're getting some switches on the on-balls now, which the Spartans are looking to try and exploit. And you saw King on that possession a couple ago, and then Philp on that one end up with a bigger body in front of him, but they're just not quite sure how to space out and take advantage of that.
Baker almost had possession knocked away from him, got it back. Or as Baker misses the shot, it's King now in transition. The 2 will count. And the foul is called on
Jet.
And we have a 9-point game. We're not going away.
Yeah, look, I just, did Coach Anderson maybe make a little bit of a mistake and go with that group a little bit too long at the start of this quarter? He's rushed his starters back in now to try and settle things, but Spartans have just picked up a little bit of momentum. The Heat really need to just take over and execute really well for the next couple of minutes just to get it back out over its 10-point margin and get themselves comfortable.
68-60, and it's a term where the lead has been clawed back to just 8. And the foul call. And it's 11-1 this term to Southern Districts. So that 1 point coming from Matthew Rees at the foul line. And here's Frolling shooting from deep. Doesn't go. Baker probably give away the foul there. A little push on that rebound.
And this will be 2 shots. They'll walk the length of the floor here to try and trim this back to a 6-point margin.
Yep. But 11-1 in this term.
Yeah, look, we talked about that group offensively that they had out at the start of the quarter, and they lost their mojo for a little bit there, and they really need to, whether it's we've got to get Frolling or, Baker some good touches inside here, or find a way to Jet to be able to get a mismatch on the perimeter and him be able to attack. But I think Spartans have gone to this zone again now, which when you come in and you're not really fresh and you've lost some momentum, opposition team in a zone, if you don't make a couple of shots, it can make things harder for yourself and doubt sets in even more.
1 of 2 made at the foul line. It's a 7-point game. 12-1 this term to the Spartans. Wiltshire is going to have to pull up and shoot a tough shot. Frolling got a good, strong rebound and got the 2. 70-61. Back out to a 9-point Townsville lead. Eustace deep in the left corner. Quigley hands it back off to Eustace. Philp. Shot. There was a touch on it, but also a foul.
He's called it on the shot as well, so Philp will go to the line for 3. Yeah.
That's a big call. And substitution. So Volkman and Magne come back in for Southern Districts. And Philp at the line for 2.
3 shots here for Philp, so
3, sorry, yeah.
Opportunity to get it back to that 6 again.
The rate of 14 from the line tonight. This is an area that they've let them down. Makes the second. But King, 7 points in this term. Had a barren third term.
Yeah, he came out to play at the start of this quarter though, and the game really has turned on its head a little bit just to make this interesting enough with the Spartans hanging around. They're in a similar position to probably what they were last night against Cairns.
1 of 3 made at the foul line. Here's Tudo. Kicks it back outside to Jet. Import on import, and the defensive one wins out. King other end, 9 points in the term with that 2, and we have a 6-point game. Are we getting close to a timeout for the home team?
Anderson's still got 3 in the bag, so he'll lose 1 in a couple of minutes. So
Baker converts at the other end of the floor for Townsville. 72-64, 4:35 left. Volkman outside to Magne. King. Volkman for 2. Doesn't drop. Frolling got the rebound and then asked the question to the referee as to why he didn't get a foul call.
Yeah, look, if I'm King, I'm not sure if I'm giving up that ball to Volkman in the corner there. I think, this is the time of the game where you got to earn your money and go and make those big shots, and he really should have taken it upon himself.
Philp for Southern Districts as Townsville missed at the other end of the floor, and then they turn it over. That has been their Achilles heel tonight if they aren't to go on and win. Southern Districts, too many turnovers. Frolling for 3, doesn't drop, and Magne gets the rebound off to King.
So they're back into their ball screen action here with looking to get King on a mismatch.
And he's on Baker at the moment. Pulls up at the foul line. It's long, rebound, Magnay, Volkman for two, he converts. Now it's timeout time. 72-66, 3:23 left, Townsville by 6.
Yeah, look, they've just hung around and made themselves close enough to be in this thing. They're now in a situation where 6 down. Heat have struggled to score in this quarter, where they've only got 5 points in this quarter. Good shot from Baker last time with the high post catch and turnaround, but even that was a little bit contested. So the Heat need to find a way to break down this zone a little bit right now and get some better shot attempts.
9 fourth quarter points for Deshaun King has certainly made an impact, and the term has belonged to Southern Districts to the point where they've outscored Townsville 15-5 to eat into a 16-point three-quarter time lead. It's now 6 with Townsville leading 72-66, and out of the timeout, Townsville will have possession with 3:23 left in the term.
So just looking down at Coach Thompson's board while he's drawing up some stuff there, and it looks like they're going to continue to try and play out of the on-ball situation here, and I think you'll see them looking for the hard roll off the first on-ball, kick back, look for the high-low stuff from the bigs, and if that's not there, swing it back for another wing on ball. So they're obviously looking at trying to drag Townsville's bigs in Frolling and Baker away from the rim, see if they can then catch them out on a rotation.
Both sides back to their starting rotation.
We see the Spartans continuing to sit in this zone, which has troubled Townsville for the last quarter.
Crawford back in for Townsville as Wiltshire has possession. Jett, who offensively has been quiet in this term, but he's not Robinson Crusoe in that role, is he?
No, he certainly hasn't been, but
and there's a turnover by Townsville. Eustace down the floor and got fouled, and he'll head to the line for a couple with Townsville in the bonus and have been for some time. And there's probably some nervous bodies around here at the moment.
Yeah, look, there very much would be. This thing certainly ain't over. These 2 free throws get made back to a potentially 4-point game, 3 minutes to go, and all of the momentum with the Spartans. We're looking at a 12-5 last quarter right now.
So Eustace at the foul line for 2. He's 1 of 2 at the foul line tonight and misses the first. They have been horrid at the foul line. 9 of 18. And to think that Volkman's 3 of 3 and King's 2 of 2. There's some passengers in that department.
Between turnovers and foul shots, I don't think Coach Thompson will be a very happy man tonight.
So he makes 1 of 2 at the foul line, and we have a 5-point game. Townsville lead at 72-67. Crawford gets a good look for 3. Finally makes one tonight, right when the doctor ordered.
Yeah, good back screen of the zone by Frolling and Baker, I think, was on the weak side. Flare by PC, and Spartans just didn't get anyone out there quick enough.
Yeah, he's 1 of 5, he was before that. Sorry, none of 5. He's now 1 of 6. Foul called on Frolling.
Felt not exactly happy there. Thought Frolling dove in at his legs a little bit, but good urgency by Frolling to get after that loose ball.
8-point Townsville lead, 2:31 left. So things have steadied out of the timeout for Townsville.
We'll see if the Spartans stick in the zone or whether that one possession and that 1-3 well executed forces them to come straight out and a man off this.
Harry Frolling with 20 tonight leads the Townsville scorers. Jett with 16, Baker with 15, Wiltshire with 5 and Wiltshire with 8 and Crawford with 5 for the starting rotation. For the visitors, the Spartans, it's 26 to King, 14 to Philp, 11 to Volkman, 10 to Eustace, and 6 to Magnay. Their bench haven't scored either. There's a couple of worrying points for Coach Thompson to go away with. Turnovers, foul shots, and his bench hasn't contributed on the scoreboard. And some of those guys have played long minutes, like Quigley, who's played 21 minutes, or just shy of.
The Spartans have matched up here. Heat went to run exactly the same set, so they've had to adjust here.
And there's a foul called on Frolling, and that's a little brain snap.
Yeah, look, offensive foul. King just tried to slip in on the underneath him, and Frolling gave a little shove. King certainly sold it very well, but a foul's a foul.
It's a 6-point game. 75-69, 2:15 left. Townsville lead. And Southern Districts have possession. Philp looking at options, barking instructions. Got it back from Magnay, threw it onto the leg of Baker. He was in a bit of trouble there, wasn't he?
He was, and Philp wasn't happy. He came off that on ball there, and Magnay was actually in the wrong spot. He was meant to circle up and come back on the weak side of the floor, so it took Philp's ability to roll into that out.
Philp with the inbound. Here's King, who has been lighting it up in this last term. Volkman, Philp for three, and Wiltshire with the rebound, an important one for Townsville.
And you'd think they'll take the air out of the ball as much as they can here and try and wind the clock down a bit.
Frolling, he's had a mighty game tonight. Got the ball to Crawford. Crawford misses with the left-handed shot. And Philp, Eustace for three. It's long. They pulled the trigger pretty quickly on that, and they still got time. I don't know that they needed to pull the trigger that quickly, did they?
Oh, look, I think he tried to take advantage. Crawford was still on the scramble back. It was wide open enough. That's one of those shots. If it goes down, it's a great shot.
Yep. And Crawford almost gets stripped of possession. Timeout called by Southern Districts. And with 107 left in this final term, Townsville lead by 6, 75-69 and a quarter. That Southern Districts have held Townsville to just 8 points in that almost 9 minutes of play.
So we'll, Coach Thompson, I'm not sure whether he wanted that timeout right then and then. He probably had it prepared for when they were going to get the ball and got caught out by the little fumble here and didn't get time to cancel it. But we'll see what they do defensively here, whether they take a risk and trap on the first pass or do something just to try and force a turnover. They need to try and create some tempo, but it's only 8 seconds on the shot clock here, so they don't need to gamble too much and allow an open shot. Essentially stop, and they really need to execute properly and get the score they want on the other end of the floor, or this game's pretty much done.
All right, 6-point Townsville lead with 107 left. 19 points from turnovers for Townsville, and an area where they haven't been as good in this final term, Townsville. They now have 11 turnovers. I think it was only about 6 or 7 at the...
Yeah, well, it wasn't many at
three-quarter time.
Yeah, so they've...
And only 2 points from turnovers for Southern Districts. They've got 5 in this term from turnovers.
We'll see what special play Coach Anderson had ready for this 8 seconds.
Wiltshire, as the shot clock winds down, gets past Philp and puts it away. I think Philp feeling the effects of last night as well.
Yeah, look, he just gave up the containment far too easy there, and his help defenders were all occupied chasing players off screens.
Magnay with 2 at the other end. 6-point game again, 77-71. Townsville at least have got to double figures in this final term, but still hold a 6-point lead.
So they're playing out this one possession. They haven't gone to foul yet. I would have thought that they would have tried to burn some quick ones.
Yeah, and there was one, and it'll be a shooting one, surely. He's going to call it on the floor. He's going to go to the line.
No, they've called it from the sideline. The referee made a mistake looking at the bench there and saw the team fouls on the wrong side.
Oh, So Townsville call a timeout, and 77-71. Townsville lead by 6 with 31 seconds to go. You would think, in all probability, that Townsville will be able to, or should be able to do enough to get away with victory tonight.
Yeah, just wasn't quite sure what the Southern Districts were trying to achieve out of that last defensive possession. You know, they only had 2 team fouls at that stage, so you would have thought that down 6 at this stage, they at least try and burn a couple really quickly, get themselves to a position where they can foul to send somebody to the line, but in the end probably just did exactly the opposite, let about 15 seconds go and then burn that first foul. So you'd have to imagine we're looking at quick fouls now, and Townsville will be at the line very shortly.
So disappointing final term for Townsville. They have led by as much as 18 in this game tonight. And offensively, you know, you spoke about the starting group of the final term probably just playing a little bit too long for your liking.
Yeah, look, I think they just, when you're up and you're in control of a game and you think that you're going to control this game fairly easily, whether you're, I'm not saying that Coach Anderson was arrogant or anything like that, but, you know, it's probably a group that you wouldn't imagine you're going to play that long together for a period of time. Crawford hasn't had the best night offensively, so, he was one of the only 2 real offensive threats out there at that time. The other guys really great defenders and really good role players, but they're not players that you're going to look to go and get scores for you consistently.
All right, so Townsville's best scoring run of the night was a 15-0 run, but mind you that the opposition have had an 8-0 run, and there's that quick foul on the inbound. We burnt 2 seconds off the shot clock, or game clock.
You're certain to see another one here in another couple of seconds once they dry the ball off.
And it'll go to the foul line. That's now 14 fouls against Southern Districts. As Jordan Jet is about to get the ball back, and we'll have an inbound pass. And who will it go to? Your best foul shooter. Wilshire has it. He gets fouled by Philp and will go to the line for 2. And not that Townsville shot a lot from the foul line outside of the first half when Jordan Jet got himself there quite a number of times. Since that time, they haven't been there a great deal in the second half.
That's simple for Townsville now. You make your free throws, you play decent D, you don't give up threes, make them force two-point shots, and you win the ball game. So
Wiltshire makes the first of 2. Before this visit, he was 1 of 2 at the foul line, and he's kept up that 50% record. King gets the rebound down the floor in transition, and good work from Frolling. But there to pick up the rebound off the block was Volkman. And with 20 seconds left, it's a 5-point game. And we'll have a timeout. No, we'll have a substitution. Gray will come in for Volkman, as that earlier foul by Magnay put him out of the game with his 5 personal fouls. We've got 3 Townsville players sitting on 4 personal fouls as well. And there's Jet fouled, and he'll take his first visit to the foul line from memory in the second half, after he had 6 of 8 in the first half.
So Welsh walked away with 1 from the foul line last time, and then Southern Districts convert with the 2 just to trim the margin here. Jet needs to make sure that he just makes these 2 here, kick it back out to 7 again, and then that's pretty much game done then.
Volkman checks back in for Southern Districts. And Jet at the foul line has missed the first one. Makes the second. 6-point game, 79-73. Philp for Southern Districts. Off the foot of Frolling, so won't bother with the start of the shot clock because we're only at 13 seconds. And we've got a Townsville timeout. No, in fact, Southern District will call their final timeout of the night.
Nice little bit of jaw-jacking going on here between Philp and Frolling off the ball. So they both come out, like Harry a bit younger than Philp as they've come through, but both great competitors and wanting to get their team the win. So it's nice to see a little bit of chip in the game at each other.
Nothing wrong with that. at all. And it'll be a points decision tonight, surely, to Frolling.
You would think so. So we'll see if what Coach Thompson can come up with here. You'd think they've got to be trying to get a 3-point shot. You know, that's their only way to try and make their way back into the game. And if you're the Heat, you've just got to play up in the lanes hard here. You've got to get everything on the back foot and try and make them back cut back towards the rim. If they go and score layups, that doesn't really matter.
Frolling leads the Townsville scorers with 20. Baker 15. Sorry, Jets 17. Baker 15. Wiltshire 11. The other starter for Townsville, Peter Crawford, fairly miserable night shooting-wise. 2 of 10 for his 5 points. 1 of 6 from downtown. 1 of 4 from two-point land. King will inbound for Southern Districts. Fakes the shot, then shoots a 3. That's long. Baker with the rebound will get fouled, and he'll walk down the other end of the floor with 4.4 seconds left. They got the necessary stop, at least that time, on the 1 of 2 shooting from Jet the previous possession.
So we'll see Baker come down, make these 2 shots, then that's game over. 4 seconds to go, and credit to the Spartans, who haven't had the greatest of seasons so far. You know, they obviously haven't notched up a win yet, but I think when you look at their 2 performances this weekend, first against Cairns last night, and then tonight, you know, where they've pushed the defending champs right down to the wire, they'll go back home next week, and it doesn't get anything easier for them, though, because they play Mackay next week, who, you know, right up the top of the ladder again, and they've... you know, they were runners-up last year and looking to try and make a point, and they came in here earlier in the season and gave Townsville their only loss of the season.
1 of 2 made by Baker at the foul line. Eustace misses with the long range on the buzzer, and Townsville have defeated Southern District Spartans in the men's game tonight, 80-73.
And look, while the Heat might not be overly joyed with the margin of the game, they'd be happy with coming away from the win, you know. So, as we saw with the women's game earlier, coming off that triple header, your week's a bit disrupted afterwards. So, they've come out and got the job done what they've needed to do, and they'll continue to keep their streak alive right now.
Probably some inconsistency from Southern Districts, as well as costly turnovers and poor foul shooting. Probably, you know, has them not a little bit closer here.
And look, that's a hard thing for Coach Thompson. He's going to sit there tonight and look at the missed free throws and look at all those turnovers and just go, we could have had that game, you know. So they're the things that you really hate to look back at a coach afterwards. I'm sure he'll show them a lot of film this week and talk about where they can be better. But if they play with that heart, they'll challenge most of the teams in the league, and it won't be too long before they pick up their first victory.
Whilst not a polished performance, the Townsville Heat will continue to sit atop the table.
Yeah, so they'll sit on top, and then away again, that's the same as the girls next week with that. I think it's Logan Ipswich double. So I'm pretty confident they'll go away, you know, looking for 2 wins there. They should be backing themselves for that. So for them to continue their streak, and the Flames to look to bounce back after what's, you know, was probably a poor performance for them earlier this evening.
All right, tonight in the men's game, it's been a victory to the Townsville Heat over the Southern District Spartans by 80-73. Mark Roble, thanks for your time.
Thank
Tony
you,
Parsons,
Tony.
I think we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you.